Okay, let's unpack this. We're doing a deep dive today into someone very new on the world stage.
Pope Leo XIV, just elected May 8th, 2025.
And significantly, the first American pope.
That's right. We've gathered, the key reports, the source material covering his background.
And this whole buzz around an alleged past online life.
Exactly. Plus, the big issues he's already signaling he wants to tackle.
So our mission here is really to cut through some of the noise.
Figure out who this man, formerly Cardinal Prevost, actually is.
Look into these, well, unexpected parts of his past that are suddenly making headlines.
And try to understand what that might mean for the Catholic Church going forward under his leadership.
Yeah, get ready, because there are some pretty surprising facts floating around.
So let's start with the basics. Who is he? Before the papacy, Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost.
Born in Chicago, 1955, grew up in Dalton, Illinois, just south of the city.
And interestingly, his path wasn't initially religious studies. He was a math major.
At Villanova University, right?
Yeah. It was after that he joined the Augustinian order, took his vows in 78.
Ordained as a priest in 1982.
And then his career path really diverged. He spent, over 2 decades in Peru?
Yeah, a huge chunk of his life.
Wow.
Missionary, teacher.
And eventually Bishop of Chiclayo down there?
He even became a Peruvian citizen. That's quite a commitment. Gives him a really different lens, I imagine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That experience seems key.
Yeah.
Then he came back, led the entire Augustinian order globally for about 10 years.
Wow, go.
Pope Francis made him a cardinal in 2023, and his most recent job before becoming pope. Hugely influential.
Head of the dicastery for bishops.
That's the one. Basically the office that scouts and recommends bishops worldwide. That's serious power behind the scenes.
So quite a journey. From Illinois to Peru, leading an order, picking bishops, and now the papacy.
But the moment that white smoke appeared, it felt like the internet just exploded.
Focus right in on one thing.
Yeah.
This supposedly deleted X account.
Yeah, the handle at Drooperoast.
Yeah.
Suddenly, screenshots were absolutely everywhere.
And the Vatican's official line on whether it was actually his.
Silence.
Yeah.
Neither confirming nor denying. Which, only fuels the speculation.
Of course. But what the screenshots allegedly show, well, that's where it gets fascinating.
Right. Based on what's circulating, it paints a picture of a cardinal who was maybe quite active online.
Sharing opinions, retweeting things on current events, things you might not expect.
Let's look at some examples people are pointing to. There's one reported post, February 3rd, 2025.
Okay, very recent, before the election.
Sharing a link, apparently to an opinion piece titled something like, J.D. Vance is wrong. Jesus doesn't ask us to rank our love for others.
Okay. Politically charged. What else?
Go back further. August 1st, 2015. A post linking to a Washington Post article
About?
critical of Donald Trump's anti-immigration rhetoric at the time.
Interesting. So views on U.S. politics showing up.
Seems so. Then in 2017, after the Las Vegas shooting,
Yeah.
He reportedly retweeted Senator Chris Murphy's call for action and apparently slammed the whole thoughts and prayers response as insufficient.
Wow. Okay. That's quite pointed.
Then fast forward to 2020, sharing posts mourning George Floyd's death.
Suggesting solidarity with racial justice movements?
That's the interpretation, yeah. And even as recently as April 2025, just before becoming pope,
What happened then?
an alleged post calling out both Trump and El Salvador's president Nayib Bukele over a deportation case.
So if these posts are genuine, it suggests a consistent thread, doesn't it? Engagement with social justice, immigration, certain critiques of U.S. policy.
Yeah, and the account was reportedly active since way back in 2011.
And then, poof, gone, right after the election.
Instantly. Which, as you said, just feeds the speculation. Was it a deliberate, planned cleanup?
Or someone hitting delete in a panic. We don't know.
But the internet never forgets,
Yeah.
right? The screenshots are out there now.
And it wasn't just text posts either, was it? There was that photo.
Oh, the pony picture. Yes. From 2015, apparently. Cardinal Prevost, aviator sunglasses, windbreaker, riding a pony.
It became an instant meme, didn't it?
Totally. It's sort of this surreal snapshot, a reminder that even figures in ancient institutions aren't immune to, internet weirdness.
Okay, so we have this complex background. Chicago roots, Peru experience, math degree, leadership picking bishops.
And then these glimpses of a potentially opinionated online life. How do we put it all together?
Well, the descriptions emerging paint him as something of a centrist within the church hierarchy.
Right, which is key. It means sort of progressive on social issues, think immigration, climate change, poverty, things maybe influenced by his time in Peru.
But doctrinally conservative.
Exactly. On core church teachings like women's ordination, he's seen as holding the traditional line, likely reinforced by his roles within the Vatican structure.
It's a balancing act. And his choice of name, Leo XIV, that seems really deliberate.
Extremely deliberate. You look back at the last Pope Leo,
Yeah.
Leo XIII, late 19th century.
He was the workers' pope, right?
Right.
Rerum novarum.
Precisely. A landmark encyclical tackling the Industrial Revolution, capital, labor, workers' rights.
So by picking that name, Leo XIV is sending a pretty strong signal.
It definitely looks that way, hinting at a focus on social justice, maybe the impact of today's massive societal shifts, much like his namesake tackled the shifts of his era.
A powerful echo, as you say. And speaking of massive shifts, he didn't wait long to name his first big target.
No, right in his first speech to the cardinals, May 8th, he went straight for artificial intelligence.
Came out really strongly against it, didn't he?
Issued a stark warning. Said AI threatens human dignity, justice, and labor.
And he compared its potential impact directly to the Industrial Revolution. That's a big statement.
Huge. Framing it as a fundamental challenge, not just technology, but something affecting our very humanity.
And you have to think his math background comes into play here, right? He's not just speaking philosophically.
Good point. He likely understands the systems, the logic, maybe the underlying structures in a way others might not.
And he was already looking into this as a cardinal.
Reportedly, yes. Invited Paolo Benanti, a Vatican AI expert, for a briefing back in September 2024.
And Pope Francis had already called for AI oversight, too.
Right, for social good.
Yeah.
So Leo XIV is stepping into an existing concern, but maybe amplifying it, bringing perhaps a new analytical depth.
And the timing. AI is just everywhere now, reshaping jobs, how we get information.
The potential for deepfakes, spreading lies, algorithms dividing us.
We all saw that AI image of Pope Francis in the puffer jacket, right?
Yeah, look.
Seemed funny.
But it highlighted how easily convincing fakes can be made. His focus isn't just about cool tech. It's about truth, work, human connection.
Okay, but it's crucial we also address the other side. His election wasn't met with universal cheers. There are shadows.
Yes, absolutely. Very serious allegations about how he handled clergy abuse cases have resurfaced almost immediately.
These are coming from survivors groups like SNAP.
The survivors network of those abused by priests, yes. They've raised specific claims.
Relating to his time back in Chicago?
One claim involves allegedly allowing an Augustinian priest, who is accused of abusing minors, to live near a school without telling the administrators.
And also from his time as bishop in Peru.
Yes, in the Diocese of Chiclayo. 3 women claim he didn't investigate priests accused of abusing them when they were children.
What's the response been from the diocese there?
They've denied those specific claims, cited a lack of evidence, and said one priest involved was too ill for charges to proceed.
And Prevost himself, has he addressed this kind of thing before?
In a 2019 interview, he did call for transparency and urged victims to come forward. But for critics like SNAP,
they're not satisfied.
no. They see the current silence from the Vatican on these resurfaced allegations as, in their words, a sin.
And the source material described the Vatican response so far as crickets.
Pretty much. Conspicuous silence, which is a huge challenge right at the start of his papacy. Can't ignore that.
Definitely not. So you have this intense focus, but also these very different reactions bubbling up.
All over the place. Back in Chicago, huge local pride. Mayor Brandon Johnson tweeting.
Everything dope, including the Pope, comes from Chicago.
Right. Locals excited about his Dalton roots, being a White Sox fan, apparently his voting record.
And Peru is claiming him, too.
Oh, yeah. President Dina Boluarte declared, "The Pope is Peruvian. God loves Peru." Celebrations reported in Lima.
And then the U.S. political reactions. Quite a mix.
Fascinatingly varied. You had former President Biden tweeting simply, "Habemus Papam, God bless Pope Leo XIV of Illinois."
And Donald Trump, despite those alleged critical tweets from the past.
Posted on Truth Social, "What a great honor for our country."
But not everyone was positive on the conservative side.
No. Conservative commentator Laura Loomer reportedly called him a Marxist puppet.
Wow. So really, the whole spectrum of reactions, people projecting their own views onto him immediately.
Absolutely. So when you pull all these threads together, the background, the math degree, Peru, the digital footprint, the name choice, the AI focus, these serious allegations, the mixed reactions, what does it all add up to?
Well, it's clear Pope Leo XIV is stepping into the papacy under an incredibly bright and frankly harsh spotlight. Scrutiny from day one, from every angle.
He's got this tightrope to walk, hasn't he? Balancing those perceived progressive social leanings with conservative doctrine in a church that's already deeply divided.
And confronting these very serious questions about transparency and accountability regarding past abuse cases.
Plus, that whole episode with the deleted X account, the pony name, it just underscores the reality of leading any major institution now.
Right. You're living in a digital fishbowl. Every past comment, every picture can resurface. Online history is basically permanent.
But then you have his immediate forceful stance on AI. That shows he's not just reacting, he's willing to proactively tackle huge, future-defining challenges.
Maybe drawing on that unique math background, that analytical perspective.
Could be. And his first official tweet from the @Pontifex account on May 14th.
Quoting his first speech, "Peace be with you all."
The very calm, traditional opening for what promises to be a very complex and potentially turbulent papacy.
So, to recap, we've looked at Pope Leo XIV's journey, Chicago, Peru, Augustinian leader, bishop selector. We've seen the unexpected storm around his alleged deleted online life, hinting at specific views.
We noted the significance of the name Leo, linking him to social justice traditions and his immediate strong focus on the dangers of AI.
And we've acknowledged the serious shadow cast by the resurfaced allegations concerning clergy abuse cases, a major challenge he inherits.
He's now leading this ancient institution, the Catholic Church, right at the collision point with our hyper-connected, rapidly changing, often unforgiving modern world.
Where every leader's past, digital or otherwise, is fair game for intense scrutiny.
It really leaves you wondering, doesn't it? How will this particular man, Pope Leo XIV, with his specific unique path, the math background, the years immersed in Peru, the experience choosing bishops, even those alleged online moments, how will he navigate it all?
Yeah, how will he lead this vast, diverse, often divided global church through the immense pressures and challenges of the 21st century? What will his distinct background mean for the direction he chooses? Definitely something to keep thinking about.